Halafia, welcome to the power of you. Ooh, this is a blessed and great, wonderful day. Trying to go on. Halafia, welcome to the power of you with Yeyefini Efunbolade. Today we are in a very powerful place in that some of the things that we are going to be experiencing perhaps may trigger responses that we have not given ourselves an opportunity to ease from during this holiday season. For the next 2 months or so, we will be facing some of our childhood trauma or adult trauma, family, community, politically, historically. And so I just wanted to share with you. There is a lady, a doctor that I follow, and I love her work. Dr. Celia Baldwin. She's a therapist. I'm going to use one of her quotes. One of the things that she said that it made sense for me today, because I always ask, what am I going to speak about today? And it always comes like, in the morning. And so this morning it came up to speak about that. Family, situations, seasons, events that we have not released can be triggered easily, but with memory, with food, with the longing for things the way they used to be. So I'm going to use some of her words about trauma. And she says, trauma is not an event. It's an imprint that's left on your body, mind, and nerves. Trauma is not the event. For some of us that are in practicing African traditional uh, practices, this is a time where you don't speak to your family for one reason or another. You're isolated. They're isolated themselves. Or whatever the case is, in trying to be the better expression of yourself, we always end up with families that make us feel like family. So sometimes that means people outside of your blood and bone, and are people who you resonate with, and the resonance has brought you a support system that helps you to heal, to make you feel love, to be seen. And during this time, it wakes up some challenges for some of us. And I always talk about us because I'm including myself. Whenever I'm on this power of you, we are speaking about things that all of us are going through. I'm not here to say I have arrived and I have survived this and I'm this great master. I am just as involved in my process every day. And then if those of you who follow me and have been following me know that I am very transparent in terms of who I am, who I have become, and who I still have the potential to be, but I'm happy with who I am in the present. So we're going to talk about trauma. Trauma is not the event. So many of us have experienced trauma, and it may not be just around this holiday season. Some trauma in your life that's been unhealed, or thing that you hold yourself still accountable to, blame yourself, cannot show up for yourself. And then in the situations where you're triggered or to remind you of it, you start blaming others or you blame yourself, and you cannot come out of that. So every year you may find yourself during a particular time to go back there. Trauma is something that happens to your nervous system. That it does not happen, it's not the event, it's the imprint. So long after the trauma has passed, the imprint is left in your body, your mind, and your nerves. She says, Dr. Celia Baldwin says, It's the mark that the incident leaves on you. So that trauma stays with you, that event. Take 30 seconds to just think of something that you know that always triggers you, either during this season or just periodically comes up. Could be a child being spanked, could be uh, an abusive situation, maybe words, experiences. So it's not the event because it happened a long time ago, but the imprint, it stays with you. The mark, it leaves like a mark that every time it comes up, it's like, oh, there it is. It's when you feel your nerves are upset or different when it is recalled, right? So if it's when you're going, let's say, for instance, during this time of the holiday season, families coming in, there's some unresolved issues that have not been addressed. There are issues that you have avoided. And this month's newsletter was speaking about avoidance. Not this month. It was the full moon in Scorpio that spoke to the importance of addressing those things, saying those things that were unsaid, that need to be said, that you need to say it to yourself or you need to be say it to others. This is the time. So we're still in that period, in that time. And it's every day you can give yourself permission to speak as to what happened to you. But in this particular time now with this Scorpio moon and Scorpio sun, was saying that for the next 2 weeks, so we have a week left, to just really dive into speaking your truth. Those things that you've decided, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to upset anybody. Or I'm not going to say anything because I know what they're saying is true. Or I'm not going to say anything because I've gotten over it. This is a time to be honest with yourself and do the thing. Say it, do it, be it. Or sometimes this is time just to be silent. Silent. Don't keep repeating and repeating and repeating. So it's the trauma leaves a mark on you, and whenever you feel that thing coming in, it's because that mark is there. And she says, or the things you do or say. So it's when you feel your nerve is upset, different when it is recalled. Or it's the thing you do or say for you to cover or mark the system of that's my words. Something that you do that changed the event for you. Something that you say, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to sing. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to crack jokes. Jokes was one of my way of coping with trauma. Whenever it came around, I was like, no, that was funny. That was humorous. We all have techniques because our body, our mind, and our spirit is always on a recovery. We want to be healed. We want to be in a space of safety. We want to feel heard. We want to feel whole. So whatever it is that is your system, when that event comes up, all of us at some point in our lives, many right now, or it has been in the past. The event ended, but the body and the mind didn't get the message that it has not happened again. Wow. The event ended a long time ago. The trauma ended a long time ago. You were abandoned a long time ago. Or you abused a long time ago. Or words that cut through you were said long ago. But your body didn't get the message. That is not happening again. So you feel that tension when a person walks into the room or that they're coming to the dinner. And you feel tense because you recall that's what happened when you couldn't speak, or that event happened when you got hurt so badly that you thought that you weren't going to live. So every time you're in a car, you feel like, oh my God, maybe it's happening again. Maybe it's happening again. Trauma is like an echo that lingers on and on until the body feels safe again. So you know, in an echo, we know what that is. When you say something and there's so much expansive energy, open energy, that it keeps the vibration keeps playing itself repeating itself more and more. So she says trauma is like an echo that lingers on and on until the body feels safe again. So that pain that you feel, that upset, that nervous, that covering up, is that echo that keeps saying, it's still happening, it's still here, you have not healed, let it happen again. So healing is required. It requires you to teach your body how to feel safe again. Healing will require you to teach your body how to feel safe again. And so this is where this time of year, it's really time for us to get honest with ourselves, because so many people have been taught through this culture or through family or some story that's been told that is not normal for certain people or people of color, and I'm getting really personal here, not to have a therapist. Not to have a therapist, not to have someone who not only is going to listen to you, but give you tools to walk through. It is normal to have a therapist. In our culture, in the indigenous culture, we live in community. So there's always someone there for you to speak to. There's always someone in your community to say, how are you doing? Either you belong to some group, some organization, some that is connected to spirit here. That is connected to spirit, that the intention of that group is to help you to navigate, but ultimately to become the higher expression of what the ideal of that group is. And usually it's connected to some kind of spiritual energy. If it's not, then it's something that you hang out with and it's okay, and y'all have a cause and you do volunteer work. We're not speaking of that. We're speaking about if we were in our indigenous culture before the integration of Western understanding of what life and what humanity is, and the dominant culture right now tells you to have a therapist means that you're crazy, or that you should be able to do it by yourself. That is not real, because at no level of anything, even the animals you see, they're going to run with groups, because running in groups means safety. It means even if you don't have the wisdom how to get out of situation, there's someone that has been there that can help you automatically, because we are all honoring the same spirit, the spirit of whatever animal it is, if it's just to survive. Right? Now we're seeing a lot of animals during this time in North Carolina. We see a lot of deers on the highway. They stepped out of their group, because if not, we would have 10 and 11 of them just on the road as a group. But we see one and one and one, because somehow they did not follow the group. And so traditionally in indigenous culture, we have a soul message that connects us to the bigness of the group and the identity of who we are. And as we walk through life, if you're a teenager, you identify with that group. If you're a young adult, you're walking through that. If you're newly married, you're going through that group. If you're a parent, if you're a mother or father, you're in that same. Everything has an egg bag, has a group of people seeking the same thing and relying on the elders who have been through it to go through it. So in this culture, in this dominant modernity, it is normal, it is expected, it is intelligent to find a therapist who you can speak to and can give you that sense of safety, of letting you know that what is happening to you right now happened in the past, and giving you the tools necessary for you to go through whatever it is happening with new tools, new ways of coping, new ways of looking, new ways of seeing the thing as it passed, and knowing that in the present you have new ways of healing so that you can become whole and feel safe again. Because that's the one thing that you want to do, is to feel safe. That's why it is required. Healing will require you to teach your body how to feel safe again. be it with your group, as we said, be it with divination, getting a reading, getting spiritual baths, washes, going to your grandparents, sitting at their feet, going to the feet of your elders, talking to them about what's happening. People or elders who have been through it and their life reflects that they know and they got common sense now. Or they remember that common sense is the thing that got them out of the situation. So elders are those who are able to help you through navigate. Usually it's people who have passed a certain age and have settled into all of the stages, the 12 different stages of their evolution. So when your body feels safe again, then you'll be able to navigate anything. The same event can come up and you'll be like, oh, it's good. And you look at it in a different perspective. Yeah. And healing will require you to teach your body how to feel safe again. Your nerves, your spiritual self, your emotional self, your physical self, you will have tools will be required to help you with those. And I'm just saying here, this one is therapy. The next way, of course, is to using to calm the nervous system. For those of us who understand and have used traditional African methods of connecting to the vibrations that you uniquely will need to go through whatever it is that you have with new eyes, with new hope, with new experience. And we know that as ritual, as ebal, as baths, as cleansings, as dancing, as smudging, as pouring libation, as the biggest and most complete ceremony that you can do for yourself to feel safe again and to begin the process or add to the process already that you exist is to connect to your ancestors. Pouring a libation to the ancestors doesn't require a whole long dynamic prayer. It requires you to understand that they are here. And we believe that when you call someone's name, they never die. So you call your ancestors, you call grandma, your grandpa. That very spirit, that energy, that balm, that person that is no longer with you, but every time you think of them, when you're baking the cake for the holidays, when you're cooking the meals, when you're cleaning the collard greens, when you're peeling them off of the stems and you think of them, you feel safe again. You feel at home again. That's ancestral celebration. So a simple ritual while you're doing the cooking and all of that and the dancing and remembering and families coming in, that's a wonderful way. Just light a candle, put a glass of water and call your ancestors. You can do this before everybody comes. And you just call your ancestors and say, today's a very powerful and important day. You know it already. I am just giving thanks for you being in my life, ancestors. Thank you, Aunt Mary, or Aunt Sue, Aunt Ida, whoever it is. Thank you for this opportunity for me to go into this space with you and for you to go in with me. And may the words and the deeds and the food that we're going to share and the conversation is going to bring us to a higher vibration of resonance that we will be able to not only put up with each other, but be open to receiving each other. And now that's the ideal situation. But if there's a place and a time where you don't feel safe enough to go into that space again, don't force yourself into feeling that if I call my ancestors, then I'm going to go to a combative state. And when I come and when I see him or her, I'm going to let them have it because my ancestors are with me. That's adding more to the trauma. You're going into a place of saying thank you and knowing that it has already done. You don't even have to worry about when I see her, when I see him, what is going to happen. I don't have to comment that Aunt Sue's sweet potato pone is not good. Take a little just out of respect. But you don't have to lie and say, oh, this is so good, I want another one, because she'll make another one. Yay! So this is a time for us to recalibrate some of the things that are happening to us and know that trauma is not the event that happened or that you may be walking into. It's the imprint that is left in your body. And you have the right and the responsibility to choose how you're going to show up for yourself first, as well as to others. Some of you that have followed me over the years know that I don't necessarily celebrate Thanksgiving the way it's done. This is a time for me to cook something and to give to the ancestors of the First Nation people, our ancestors who, because of what happened to us from the beginning of time, since we have been marked to be the most brilliant, the most worthy of, the most compassionate ones, call on that. And the offering is given to soothe and to forgive the deeds that were done to the First Nation. And for us who live in America, this was their land, this was their place. And the invasion of it. And so whichever way that you want to, just take a minute today to also give honor to that. If it's your tradition to gather with family and that, this is a good time to remember that. The origin of Thanksgiving was a guilt meal. I'm not here to talk politics. I'm just saying what I do. But today, because I know many families, because of tradition, it has become something that can be very healing and very healthy. Take advantage of this time for the traumas. This is a powerful time for us to use and connect to our best friends, which are herbs. We walk amongst giants and don't recognize it sometimes because we're in our heads and in our emotions and our feelings. We walk on grass. We walk on the earth. We walk on the trees. And this time of year, the trees don't have many leaves. They're not dead. They're still listening to us. They heard when things were said this summer when the leaves were out and everything was beautiful. They hear your lament. They hear your gratitude. This is a great time to go and lean on a tree, hug a tree, pour a libation at a tree, and thank that tree for being there. That is our heroes and sheroes. The plants are our best friends because they're accessible to us, to feed our internal organs, to bathe us, to cleanse us, to provide support, shade for us from the sun. So this is a time to connect to herbs, to plants. And in my book, The Household Guide for Yoruba Spiritual Wellness, this book I've written many years ago, I think it was in 2007 or something like that, but it still works. We have a series of baths that you can take during this time, and they really work. The herbs, that the combination of those herbs provide you with a place that they remember the story, they remember the trauma, and when you invoke them and you pluck it, the leaves or the flowers into the bucket of water, you tell it, this is for me in recognition that I am no longer where I was. I'm no longer where I was. I am where I am now and where I'm going. You will take me there, be it in a room that I'm going to, be it this month, be it coming out of this year. The trauma that has caused me to feel disconnected, this plant, your herb, call the name of it. If you don't know it, just call it the herb and start plucking it and calling your ancestor's name into a bucket of water or a big basin or big bowl and pluck it and start calling. That's telling the plant that you acknowledge their presence, you respect their ability, and you humbly appreciate what it is that you've done when you took them off of their mother plant, when you took them off of their support, when you made that sacrifice to clip them off of their support. Y'all see my plants in the back? I had to bring them in because the winter is here. So y'all know I always bring my babies in. So every morning, every afternoon, I turn on the lights, and then once a week, I pluck something from there and I make plant. This is really a banana plant. Let's see if she lasts the whole winter. But I have my growing plants in that. We have all types of things. I have yamaja. I have herbs from each orisha, so that in the middle of anything, I can say, oh, today, let me go to yamaja because what I'm feeling, I need to be calm. I need to be loving. I need to recognize that I'm the boss and you're my sisters and brothers. So always have something. One plant that you should always have. If you have no other plant in your house, get a basil and it'll laugh. Put it by your window. Just nurture it. Even if you're one of those that sometimes people are plant killers, they say, I don't know what the plant killer is. But anyway, if sometimes the plants don't behave like you and that, go with confidence. Water it and know it's going to survive. So here are some baths for relaxing blocked mental state. When there's unfulfilled longing for the past, regrets of missed opportunities, and inability to overcome grief of a loved one, make a bath of honeysuckle flowers. You can buy those in the store as well if you don't have them fresh. Honeysuckle flowers, 5 roses, 5 tablespoons of honey, a half a cup of dried fresh lavender flowers, and continuously say your affirmation as you prepare and during the bath. When I say bath, I mean you can soak in it, true, that's a bath, but you could put it in a bucket and then pour it over you from your neck down, or if you want to, pour it over your head. And the words that you're going to say to the relieving the blockage mental state bath is longing for the past is fear of the future. I am no longer afraid. Longing for the past is fear of the future, and I'm no longer afraid. Now, there's another bath that we're going to share with you from my book, Household Guide for Yoga Spiritual Wellness, which you can find on my website. And you just go on there and purchase it, and we'll mail it to you. As well as you can go on Amazon, and it will come straight to your house. So it's removing pain. When great emotional strain, impatience, and restlessness accompany physical pain, this aids in relieving inner tension, sudden outbreaks of rage, and self-destructive impulses. Okay? Use cherry or plum flowers and any kind of impatience that you may have. That could be lavender, it could be celery, that's a parsley. Yes, things like that are impatience that are always growing everywhere. You will say then, I am poised, I am at peace, my greatest expectations are revealed in a loving, miraculous way. I am poised, I am at peace, my greatest expectations are revealed in a loving, miraculous way. Here's another bath. I have a money bath, money in the river. And my Oya incense is going to be available this week on my website. You know, the one where you stand over it and you light a charcoal and put the mixture that we have, the Oya crushing ending incense, and you stand over it. I usually take a white sheet and put it over me and just fumigate my body. Just fumigate your body. And here's one that you can make yourself. You can get some benzene resin, some sandalwood chips, frankincense. So you're going to use 1 teaspoon of benzene resin. You can get that on the internet, on Amazon. Benzoin, benzoin resin, 1 teaspoon of it, 1 teaspoon of sandalwood chips, 1 teaspoon of frankincense, and a half a teaspoon of cedar leaves, and myrrh, chips of myrrh. And you're going to stand over it and just fumigate, cleanse up, or you will order it on my website, but you can make some up. This is not what my blend in. My blends is different. The only thing in here that is in my blend is the frankincense and the myrrh, but I have other things in there. Garlic skins are good as well. That's part of mine. And I have espantamuerto, quita maldición, all of the things that I use in the bath, the banishing bath, we put that in the incense, and some other things that come directly out of my olla, and then you're able to bathe with that. And here's another one to alleviate stress: 2 teaspoons of sandalwood chips, 1 teaspoon of thyme leaves, 1 teaspoon of frankincense tears, 1 teaspoon of angelica root, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon bark chips, 1 teaspoon of juniper berries, 1 teaspoon of myrrh, and 1 teaspoon of patchouli leaves or patchouli. You can get the patchouli incense or the drops and put it on there, and that's what you're also going to. That's to alleviate stress. You can burn it through the house, always starting in the last room in the house and working your way through the house to the door, and you smudge your door down. These are things, along with a good spiritual advice, counsel, reading, that will delve into what energy, what orisha, what force of nature, what element of nature, what herb is required to do the ritual prescribed in a reading. Spiritual consultation, those of you know that I'm available at yeyefini.com. You can make an appointment for a spiritual consultation to end the year or your New Year readings, whichever are a situation that has you, that is a trauma that you're dealing with. That also, with the reading, would speak directly to how, what energy, what orisha, what force of nature to use as the ritual to break it, as well as to allow you to release it, because sometimes it's not breaking, it's actually releasing it with ease through the ritual, whatever the ritual prescription is. And there are rituals that can be done, prescribed in a reading, from bowl of water with just a bowl of water and the obi. Yes. And then there are rituals that may require a sacrifice. And for those of you who experience, sacrifice is the last thing that I ask. It's always about the herbs. How is your mental state? What is a ritual? A ritual is not is a destination. A ritual is the thing that you're offering to safeguard the advice that was given to you in the reading, that you will be able to see it and follow it. The sacrifice you make is to listen and to do what is required. Not just show up and say, oh, I gave 10 whatevers. I gave 15 whatevers. So it's broken. No, that is just you making an agreement that I'm giving you this upfront so that I will be able, and I'm capable of recognizing and intuiting what it is that I need to do that I heard in the ritual. That's why when you get a head feeding, a rogation of your head, one of the places that we place is at your ear, that you will be able to hear and to listen and to discern from the top, and to allow your third eye, which is the inner eye, to be brilliant, to be open, and you put it at your throat chakra, so that you will be able to speak words, but also you will be able to swallow and to eat the things that's going to go into your stomach. We put them on your shoulders, the responsibility that rests on your shoulders. You're feeding the back of your neck, which is Eshui Bako, the things from the past, your ancestors, and the things that you have experienced. May they now come forth and be a part of the ritual. And your hands, the back of your hands, your feet, everything. Alchemy, just aligning. So rituals are meant to ease you into, and sometimes it requires you that you end up having a breaking. Some rituals is just to clean you off and let go of the animals. Some rituals are to bring a glass of water and just to meditate. And sometimes you ask, and you give a simple prayer and meditation, and the priest asks, is it released? No. Does the client have to sit again? Sit longer? Yes. Sometimes there are places that when you're in a meditation, you may just be doing the superficial thing, but the space that you're holding with the ritual and you're going within and really connecting. So that becomes your therapist. And if you're feeling, because of the dominant culture, whatever has made you feel that going to a therapist is not correct, at that time, release that fear so that you can find someone that their job and their commitment, whether you're paying them because you're paying them, but you're going to pay them one way or the other, and you go to that therapist, their commitment is to give you tools that you already have, remind you or to set some in place that you will be able to do it and alleviate and find yourself feeling safe again. So I hope today that you will find this time of the year that trauma comes back. Know that it's not happening again. You are using the same reaction to it. So look forward to see you again on Wednesday. Y'all have a safe and wonderful holiday, and know that you, the power of you, is the greatest thing when you walk into your family's rooms. And know that if you don't feel like going, that's your power too. That's your power. Because if it's too much for you to handle at that time, give yourself enough grace to know that you're not, and they will love you in spite of it or not. This is our number 9 year. Things to shift. Time to shift. Be honest with ourselves. Have a beautiful day. Odabo.